Okay. Let's start it off. So, GWR. I have not heard this yet. A friend of mine, Garth Allen, reached out to me yesterday. You may know him from projects such as Jar, Flybanger in Vancouver. And I only recently saw that he is in a new project. And so what we're going to do, because we support music, we go right off the bat, we're going to hit subscribe. Bam! Subscribed. And you know what? We'll hit like too, because that's what artists do. We support each other. Anyway, thank you so much, Garth, for sending this to me. I have not yet heard any of this, so we'll start off by doing a little reaction and seeing what this is all about. Again, I have no idea what I'm walking into. Make sure the audio is working here. Check. Okay. Yeah. Ooh, wow. That's like some Slipknot kind of... Yeah, there you are. Wow. Yeah. Oh, there's Weasel. That's right. Weasel's in this too. Shout out. Is that wrong? Garth, I'm loving. He's always got such a strong, powerful chorus. Like that's what I'm loving. Nice. Bring it in. Speed it up. I like the visuals too. Is that Weasel like painted like Kiss? Weez, what are you doing, man? It's awesome. Oh yeah. Oh, love the harmonies. The harmonies, yes. Oops. Bring it up that wow. Yeah. Hold it. Hold it! That's wicked. Wow. Okay. I wasn't expecting this. Usually it's a lot more harder, like faster. Those long, drawn-out notes, those are sick, man. Row! Row! And then you got Wheeze in the background there doing the harmonies. Bravo. Wow. I'm not even... Damn. Big, powerful finish. Some decent video editing too, for sure. Wow. Right on. Bravo. I'll give the classic bra fucking row. Awesome. That was sick. Wow. Um, you know, Garth, GWR, I didn't even look what it stood for. But I'm now subscribed. I don't know if I just like type it in, I can find it. No, probably not. Anyway, cool. All right. Shout out to GWR, Garth Allen, Weasel, for sharing. Appreciate it. Maybe we can get them in on their opinion sometime, talking about music and music scene. And I believe they're still in Vancouver, as far as I know. Yeah. Cool. Sick. That was awesome. So, all right. So that was GWR. Kick things off. So what you've been listening to in the intro is an old project of mine called Shrines. We actually, that was my project from Vancouver actually as well. We had a pretty good run. I'd say, how long were we together? 2 years? But that's how I met Sonic Sphere and Chris Poo, Morn Hall, and all them. That's how we met. That's how I met Tessa Wenzel. That's how, I kind of got the introduction into the music world in Vancouver. Long time ago. I won't date myself. Whatever. So, anyway, that's that. And, yeah, that's Shrines. No longer around. Actually, this is in tonal, it sounds like. Probably like in the practice room. Anyway, let's get down to the Astastic. So, if you're just tuning in, we're on Facebook, Kick, and Twitch live. I'd like to thank you for joining in. If you're too shy to comment, that's totally cool. If you're just watching me spit, that's cool too. So earlier today, I don't know what kind of triggered me into doing this, but there has been a lot of talk. Pretty much YouTube and streaming is pretty much decided based on your political views, which sucks ass, left or right. I don't like talking about that stuff because as soon as you talk about the left, people start judging your shit. Students start talking about the right. People start judging you for being that way. And you know what? Left, right aside, I just think it's pretty cool that we can have open platforms. I chose Kick and Twitch because they are growing in the streaming space, while Twitch has already been around for a while. In fact, I joke, well, not jokingly enough, if you're watching this on Twitch, some of the guys in the castle rooms and stuff, I was joining Cutebot's channel. I was, I don't know what I was doing. I was just checking out some of the channels they have there, like the e-dating sites are pretty fun. I watched those, so I was I didn't know what angle I was playing, but a lot of people play those angles. They play the rich guy, they play the the arsehole, they play the romantic, the simp. There's all kinds of dating personalities online, and I find it entertaining. It's just like kind of watching a reality show, but for streamers and Twitch, people doing that. So we were doing that, and just, man, there's a lot of different people in the in those kind of groups, in those rooms. So I don't know if any of you out there watch those kind of shows like Cutebot and KJ Darren, I forget, Wild Latina, all those kind of streamers. they have like these e-dating rounds, and they go off and they give people a chance to video chat in on their channel and date them. um, they basically just talk about first dates and blah blah blah. So those are fun. Another one I watch is Whatever, just because Brian, I find you hilarious. Like, he's obviously extremely intelligent, and so are a lot of the guests that he has on. They're very young. They're very well articulated, so I'm jealous of that. I definitely want to get to that level, especially with debates and talking and such. They are very intelligent conversations, and that's honestly something that I love doing. Especially in like society and the dating world, for some reason, everybody seems to be obsessed with that right now. And it seems to be growing. That's the thing. If you do not know, I'm a musician. I'm in a band called Doctored. I've been doing it for over 20 years now. I've had ups and downs. We just saw one of my friends, their music videos. I thought it was very well done. Their sound I dig. It's like an early 2000s sound, which is kind of where I lay comfortable in that spot, and I definitely like it there. If I had a preference, that would be the era, like late 90s, early 2000s. That's not to say I grew up on listening to classics such as the Beatles, Zepp, Steppenwolf. I mean, I could name a ton. And then I got into like a punk era. Also, I forgot to leave it. I listened to a lot of B-sides and like bands that were really big in the 70s, but not like well known nowadays. Like I least favorite is the Bee Gees. I will say that. I know probably lost some listeners, whatever, but John Lennon. I listened to a lot of some Elvis. Actually, I wanted to cover "Love Me" by Elvis. I think I can do quite a good impression of "Love Me." What am I thinking of? Bob Dylan. Roy Orbison, stuff like that. I got into, and then I got into like a really punky kind of stage, like Rancid, and then Blink and Green Day. Well, those guys are more mainstream pop punk. But Nirvana, grunge era, I was into all that, like early 90s stuff. That's kind of like where my heart's really kind of started forming with music. Offspring. Then I kind of got into a little bit harder rock. It kind of progressed from there. Early 90s, I was like into Dan Grabko. Thank you so much for basically giving me my next 20-year addiction to Korn. I remember in 94... let's see, I would have been 8-ish, 9-ish. I can't remember. Dan Grabko handed me my very first Korn CD. And that was the one with the creepy guy on the front in front of the little girl. And I was like, what is this? And that kind of sprouted off into, it just got heavier and heavier and heavier. So I really didn't stop there. Then, of course, I discovered Orgy, Deftones, Rammstein, Ice Cube. I got really big into hip hop in 99 and 2000 era, mainly because I hung out with a couple of different groups that were into that. Snoop, and then later on I would go to work for him and all that stuff. I never thought I'd have an Ice Cube too. But then, so that happened. So rap, hip hop, Limp Bizkit, all those like Seven Dust. I could go on. And then the newer metal came out was Static X and all that stuff. Spine Shank I listened to a lot of. What else? Oh man, we should just go through my library sometime. But it was really random. Besides all that, I listened to a lot of dance and like other things that you really wouldn't expect from left field. People who have rode in my car, often I get weird ass looks. They're like, okay. I haven't been too up to date. Oh wait, before I get there, I got into death metal really hard in 2006. I remember that. I saw As I Lay Dying open for Deftones, and that was kind of like the So then came Kill Switch, Bury Your Dead, all those kind of bands. Asking Alexandria, which introduced me to Attila. It's just like a rolling rock slide of just metal and then thrash metal. So I wanted to get into all that. Sorry, I'm just checking in on Kick. We're good. Okay. So got into all that and really, where'd my Twitch chat go? Yo, chat. All right, cool. So yeah, that kind of spiraled. And so leading into now, I definitely say, it got to a point where I started listening to my own stuff, man. And that's like very narcissistic, I know, but as you know, you create music, you kind of want to keep that kind of format, right? So, I wanted to do that and, kind of focus my efforts on that. So did that. What's now? I guess you could say I'd be more into Bad Omens or into maybe Sleep Token. Still into Slipknot, became one of my favorites and still is to this. I don't know how I didn't start with that shit. I saw Slipknot a couple times, and that was thanks to an ex of mine who was really, really into them. Thank you so much. I at least took that with me. So Slipknot, Sleep Token, Bad Omens, Devil Wears Prada I'm kind of revisiting. Revisiting a couple other bands that are just kind of like pulling in front again. How could I forget Linkin Park and Dope? Those were some of my biggest influences. Linkin Park especially, because I mean, you can hear it. A lot of people hear it in Doctored's music, the band that I'm in. And so yeah, those are just to name a bunch that I can think of that I'm, you know, that are obviously super influential. And to be, if I'm being 100% with you guys, it was, I'll never forget. We haven't talked in a long time, probably won't, but me and my friend Rob Johansson at the time, when we were in Shrines, we were really thinking about like our sound and format, and we couldn't decide because like one of us, like myself, I came from a heavier background. Rob and them came from more of an experimental background, but I'll never forget. He told me the key to modern music and being in an original band, the secret is knowing how to hide your sources of influence. Now, you've heard it a million times, like as music's being recycled a dozen times, like over and over and over again, you hear similar riffs, similar things you just can't get away from, right? What's up, Mike? Good to see you. Are you in Calgary now? Can't remember. You said you were moving there soon. Yeah, so hiding your sources, because honestly, music comes from somewhere. Your inspiration comes from somewhere. You've heard riffs a million times, but it's our ability to turn that into something original that makes it original. Now, I do have respect for cover bands, working musicians. It seems to be more of the thing that kept going through COVID. In fact, I probably can't say that or get demonetized. Not like I'm monetized, but it's probably the thing that kept people going through the pandemic. They work hard, and let's be honest, we go to a bar, we see a live band, we're like, I feel like the live band experience. We want to hear some stuff that we recognize, we remember, we love. And that's what cover bands did. But getting to that, a large debate on what we use, for draw. I had a talk with Fidel last weekend, who was in the Rising. And a large debate is on what bands do right and what they don't do right. As far as promotion, as far as how to get the draw up. And I think, honestly, in a world with such high competition, and we'll get to the influencer thing on this. I'm working my segue in. Is bands don't always want to be on social media. As creative and as much as we want to be in that kind of spotlight, we a lot of us just don't want that kind of smoke and that kind of drama. A lot of people I know have families, have private lives, because you can be anything you want on the internet. Let's be honest, right? Like, you don't have to show your true self. You don't have to show anything you don't want to, and share only positives, only good things. So it created this false reality. I mean, am I right or am I wrong here? It's created something like of a fantasy, a narrative that we could be whatever we want to be with who we want to be not with who we want to be. And on that note, I think bands need to do what they got to do. As annoying as it is, as work as it may seem, we don't have the local newspaper anymore. Well, maybe we do, but we used to rely on paper ads to get us through for advertising. We used to have posters put up. I remember seeing tons of posters in Vancouver put up. That's like basically a post on Facebook now, or Instagram, or TikTok videos. I know everybody cringes over the word TikTok, or did. We need it. So, and this is my message to artists that are hesitant. Yes, when you see other artists and other people posting too much, it can get to a point where you feel like it's excessive, where you feel like, okay, you know what? We saw that already. And not only that, I'm not a fan of your band. I'm not a fan of your music. I'm not a fan of you. You may hate you may hate my face. This face, people want to punch. I know that. It's a very punchable face. But, I mean, unless you're going to be swatted, or, you know, the billionth chance that someone's going to fly out from across the world that hates my face is going to come to my door, we have nothing to fear. Honestly, the term keyboard warrior was born for a reason. It's because people hide behind that. And you know what? It's become very powerful. Even the smallest minorities have a voice. Cancel culture came about, which is fine. Humans need to evolve and use it in any way they can. But it's kind of what it is. And again, to the bands that are hesitant, I just say do it. Just do it. Honestly, it sucks. It's effort. It's, you know, it's not always like at the greatest timing. You want to have a private life. You want to have, you know, and I mean that for all members, not just for one person in the band to be a representative. Yes, you need that. You need one person in the band to be a drive. You need some person in your artist group, like management, to push you further. But in a world of constant growing competition and the internet being forever, you need to do that. You need to do it, because you're just going to get drowned. You're going to be forgotten. And if that's what you want, hey, you have that option too. I know several artists and musicians that just stopped posting. They just stopped for different reasons, not just because they're afraid or they don't want clout or they're just not into the culture. They all have different reasons. So I'm not saying it's, people, I'm not calling anybody coward or whatever. I'm just saying that if you're out there, you're in the space, no matter what age you are, No matter what status you are, just do it. Push yourself to do it anyway. Because there's always going to be people hating you. There's always going to be people that will not like your face. I keep saying my face because I know it. I know there's people that want to punch this face. Go ahead. Right? Coke Zero, sponsor me. Do it. So, on that note, what have we seen in society? Since the COVID, we've seen people use the internet now more than ever. We use socials now more than ever. It's become imperative to our nature. Hence the rise of all these dating shows and e-date shows and influencers. Segue. By the way, we're running into 45 minutes by now. If you have not left a comment or liked and subscribed and all that shite, do so. If you want to call in, I'm going to be ending the request soon. But moving on. If you'd like to chime in on this subject, go for it. The reason I'm focusing on it is because I know several influencers, even in town here in Calgary. And I mean, that kind of brings me into what do you think constitutes as an influencer? Is that 5,000 likes and views? Or okay, let's talk purely in followers. Does that constitute 5K followers, 50K followers, 80, 500 million? We've seen them all. So socials have made it so that, I don't know, don't you feel like that celebrity status is almost gone now? I mean, when literally, I don't know, social media is also making it seem like we're blowing up from nothing, like TikTok videos, like I got so many views, right? We have, well, I mean, John Campia, for example, I'll just use him. Because I watched his YouTube videos for a long time now, for a couple of years, I think since 2016, 17. He was on several other movie blogs. Now, that's kind of where it started for me in interest, is because I was and still am like quite a big movie fiend. I love cinema. I love movies. It's really sad to see where it's gone recently. And by that, I mean, it's, you know, streaming. I feel like it's kind of taken a toll on people. So I kind of listened to John Campia, and he is a fairly big YouTube channel. I'd say it's lost some traction compared to before, but he's still doing quite well. He has a studio, he has staff that he pays, he has guests that he pays. He's able to make a living off of it. I'm not sure how much, but he does have a backyard pool in LA, and a stream show out of his garage that has like a, you know what? He's doing quite well. And I believe last time I checked, hey, this might be a good time to look into. Let me just get it here. Hopefully I don't get like ruined from it. Let's look it up. So, the John Campia Show podcast. And he changed it into a podcast, which a lot of artists do. There he is. Awesome. So, I don't talk. So, he's, as you get...
I already know I blew this show. But let's try.
Jeez. Okay. So, he's got... Let's see. I haven't subscribed on my pod yet. So, he's 323K subscribers. That's quite a bit. I've seen bigger. That's what she said. Let's go to, for example, Zeducation. I know he must have more than that. 1.5 million subscribers. Sunday. So honestly, he is raking in 3 to 4 times what John Campea is. And John Campea has a full staff that he pays and guests. So, and this guy, as far as I know, is just himself. So if you go back to John Campea, if you have a look at his page, he's got high production. He's got...
I already know I blew this show, but let's try again anyway. On today's episode...
So it doesn't feed back. But if you go through it, you can see Robert Meyer Burnett in there. You can see his large, very nice studio. He's got great high-tech equipment. He doesn't have my beautiful green screen, obviously. But, you know what? He's done well for himself, and all he's done is basically spit, right? He's spit about movies, and he's learned it. He's made it his hobby, his passion, and he works fucking hard. Pardon my language, but he works hard. Want to look at another one of my buddies, Bell Development, not to compare, but he's got 40.9K. He's really decent, actually. Wow.
Recordings just
I'm
got
sure
better.
he's doing well for himself now, too. He's on, I don't know, maybe it's just an ad for StreamYard. He's on YouTube. Got quite a bit, and he does reaction videos. So shout out Bell Development, Jesse, that's him. Rock on, buddy. I want to do a collab with those guys again soon. And of course my bro Nick. He's got 190K, and he's worked hard for it. So Nick, shout out to you. He's also got a second channel, I believe, called Hear Me Out, which I was watching earlier. He comments on like celeb gossip and stuff, and hey, you know what? I like those reaction things. They're awesome. So yeah, he's also maybe I'll go to about. Yeah, I'm creeping, dude. Yeah, I'm creeping. Oh, maybe it's not in here. But he's got, you know, all his IG, his Twitter, Cash App. Go for there. Check him out. He does reactions. He reacted to a couple of doctor videos, actually. So I'd say he's pretty up there for, you know, 190K is nothing to laugh at. Hear Me Out is growing as well, 908. Damn. And so you can see the kind of content he does on Hear Me Out. So influencers. And just to give you some context about what I meant at the beginning, now, I'm not trying to promote this as something that I think everybody should listen to. In fact, it's a very particular taste. It's become quite popular. 4.23 million. Wow. Good for him. Subscribed. He's got another. He promotes a lot on Twitch and Kick because YouTube takes a large percentage. It's actually even more, I found out, Brian, in Canada. You can see he's got Patreon, he's got YouTube, he's an excellent businessman. You could see right from his thumbnails that he is not joking about dating talk. He lives in Santa Barbara. I believe it's California. I don't know where Santa Barbara is. I think it's close to LA. So he lives in Santa Barbara, like I believe either close to or on campus. I'm sure you've seen the memes online everywhere, with the whatever banners in the background and show host Kiki. He's got everything, but as you can see, mostly promotes OnlyFans, sex workers, and like models and influencers. But he also promotes I don't know if he promotes or just debates more of, you know, women and men and the culture that stems from. So I mean, if someone were to start something similar in the realm of more societal norms now and societal updates, that's fine. I see this eventually being, well, no. I mean, I think this kind of subject will always be popular because we date. and it's increasingly getting harder. Bringing me back to the influencer talk is that, I mean, the days of meeting someone through a friend, that happens. That happens, certainly. And they still say that's like the best way to meet somebody is through a friend or a family member. That's like the most organic and healthiest way to do it, because you've obviously created a human connection from that person. And you know, if you hang with them, one of those words, fuck with them, you fuck with most people, right? A friend of yours is a friend of mine. And honestly, it's I still believe that's the best way to go. Me being in music, now I will say I've had my fair share of meeting people that way. Of course, I believe there was an extent where we had to kind of play our part, though, still. Like, you had to pretend like you didn't want to date. You had to pretend like you didn't want to do any of that stuff. Or, you know, you wanted to flirt, but you wanted to sell merch, but you didn't want to get tied down because you wanted to tour and be the rock star, right? But, by the way, we're listening to Intonal now. So this Whatever podcast, if you go to it, as you can see, he has discussions with mainly, as you can see, a panel of women who I believe do all sorts of occupations, and he kind of relates it to the dating world and how hard it is to date and the dating norms, etc. Don't want to get too, taken down, whatever. But as you can see, he's like, oh, high body count and blah, 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 blah. Another one that's similar to this one is called the Fresh and Fit podcast. I believe they're still up. Yeah, Fresh and Fit podcast. Another one I listen to, which, again, I'm still starting up the diagnosed thing here. So, I don't know if they were demonetized recently. But they have these topics. Again, rising in popularity. Now, me wanting to get in on it, not really, to be honest. I wouldn't do what these people do, because they're really good at it. I believe I can stir up things if I wanted to, but I don't believe that's the image I want to go by, because a lot of people, especially in these podcasts, not exactly these two, but I believe a large goal of these podcasts are to destroy a lot of non-conservative views and left-wing kind of political views. Not just that, not political views, but SJW kind of people who follow trends in the dating world. Follow trends and social norms and things that are happening in our society and on the internet right now. One of them being dating being harder. Most of us who are single have to resort to using dating apps online on our phone, because that's where everybody is now, right? It's harder to meet people in person if we don't get together. So most people that date have to go on dating apps. Then there are some of us who literally want to meet someone the traditional way of bumping into them in a grocery store, like in a Hollywood movie. I think personally you're going to get fucking told off that way. I think you bump into someone, they'll be like, "Moo, bitch!" You know, like, I think that would happen, to be honest, nowadays. Or you get a smuggy look and then you go to your separate ways. I think even a wink and a smile is considered creepy now. Like, if you're going grocery shopping and you do the, maybe I'm not doing this right. Okay, it's been a while since I've actually done this to someone in a store, and there's probably a good reason. Because I think anybody would run. But if I was like, you know, I was just looking at something and I'm going like, hey, you know? would that creep you the hell out? Like, I think someone would be like, oh, like someone would vomit everywhere if they saw that, right? But anyway, that's kind of like the way a lot of people hope it still happen. Like I said, you don't hang out in the cucumber section and hope somebody comes around that way. So most of us have to go to dating apps. And not only that, we're on like socials like Instagram where literally everybody's a model. Everybody has their best moments. Pardon me. Their best angles, their best sides. And honestly, it's all fucking fake. Like that's the shitty part, is that it's fake in the sense that they're showing you what they want you to see. And it kind of begs to question, and this is not just I'm taking me out of the equation, but if you were single and if you were, I'm talking to you, if you were single and you saw an influencer, you hit follow, you go, damn, you know, like this person is just basically traveling to Dubai. They're going to France. They're getting out these fancy dinners. They're buying really expensive Louis Vuitton stuff. Their Gucci belts. They're going all out. They're dressed to the nines all the time. They're like perfect peak physical condition, peak business mentality. Like, it makes you wonder, would I ever have a shot? Would somebody ordinary, and I mean I'm saying ordinary in a sense of income, in a sense of family life, normal life circumstances, would somebody who was divorced or with a kid, or who has been widowed, or someone who just has not found the right person because they're still single and because they've just been scared, religious reasons, someone who is religious but now a different religion, do you have to go to church to meet somebody? Do you have to or is it literally these influencers that basically control the dating world? Like, it really makes you beg the question. By the way, if you've stuck in this long, thank you so much. It has been over an hour, and I'm gonna shut her down here, and I'm gonna end on that note, because that's kind of like the whole point, is like, I don't know if it's toxic where we're looking at our phones all the time, we're looking down, we're constantly seeing people like be better than one another, like they're doing better, they're savvy, they're entrepreneurs, they're I see that one a lot, like, you know, top 100 entrepreneur of the year, you know, like, where I'm so successful. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with celebrating your success at all. That's not what I'm saying. In fact, I believe you're spreading positivity, if anything. You're not downplaying, you're not trolling, you're not, you know what I mean? So good on you for that. And bravo. For those of us who don't have those opportunities all the time, and maybe you just haven't gotten yours yet, maybe it's about to, you're about to blow up, or you've been grinding for a long time. There's also people who are still moderately successful, who I believe deserve more, because they've just been grinding for so long. Shout out my boy Nate Trash, sorry. I had Nick's page up. But shout out Nate Trash. That guy promotes like a motherfucker. Like, he pushes his music and his videos on every platform. He networks with every single type of musician and person he can, and he promotes. He works hard, and he deserves to have people come to his shows and listen to his music. Even if you don't like his music, the guy just pushes so hard. Now, whether or not it works for majority of people, I don't know. But I can guarantee you, if you don't try, you don't do it, you're not going to make it, you know? Especially with influencers making it seem like it's easy to get there, and they're all around us, right? Like I said, I know a couple in Calgary right now. So it's possible. It is. But it's also something that we should take back and kind of realize is that that's not always real life. That's not, it is what they're showing you. It's what they're not showing you how many times they've fallen, how many times they've failed, how much life has beaten them to fucking shreds before they've gotten to that place. And not only that, I guarantee you it's still happening. It's not like we've made it, it's over. They are still grinding. They're still running into obstacles. And because you got to keep it up. It's dopamine. It's success comes with preservation. Like, you have to keep going. You can't just do it once and then give up and be lazy and just coast. Like, that's not what how it works, right? So anyway, on that note, for anybody who is just interested in following other influencers and genuinely interested in dating an influencer, I ask you this, to the influencers, if you've ever stumbled across this video ever, I really doubt it, because most influencers are busy and doing their own thing. But if you ever stumble across this segment, this video, I want to ask you, would you ever consider dating somebody, and boy, girl, LGBTQ plus, anybody in that nature, trans, non-trans, non-binary, anybody that comes across your page and admires you, but they do not have a large following themselves. Maybe they work a normal job, and they're amazing cooks, or they take care of theirs a special way. Would you ever date somebody like that? Would you give them a shot? Or will you just hit up their Instagram and be like, oh, they only got so-and-so followers, I'm not even gonna give them time of day? Do your DMs go straight to hidden? Like, do you have that setting on? I know I do. I know several people that do. Most of the time because they're scams and like people just perving on you or whatever. But I know it's harder for women. Of course it is. I will give them, they've got the swatting arm. Like they, with hundreds of people DMing them all the time. Like how do you know what's real and what's not? Especially with how fake the internet is, right? Like, it's crazy. So that is the question I would leave to you, right? Like, would you, as an influencer, date a non-influencer? Question mark. And there's only two options, right? There's only two options. That poll right there. There's only two options. That's what I would leave you with. We are running 107. It is 8:11. If you haven't eaten supper, go get something to eat right now. If you are just tuning in, I apologize. We've been going over an hour now. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Tatus, Mike Brooks, Garth Allen, who messaged me earlier. Shout out to you. I'm going to wrap things up. Left it right there. I see someone shared, reactions, comments, Facebook, Kick, and Twitch. Check out the post details in the description. You can see all the links down there where you can watch more. Message me, DM me, hit me up. If there's something you'd like to talk about, dating related, music related, movie related, fucking anything related. If you just want to hang out and I don't know, I'm kind of finding it fun just to stream and talk. Whatever. Literally, whatever. I'm going to be here anyway. Might as well have something to watch. You know what I mean? Might as well have something to watch after I'm long gone. Because the internet's not going anywhere. That's for sure. Anyways, I'd like to thank you all for participating. Like, share, subscribe, all the fun stuff. If you didn't like what you're doing, hit me up in the DMs. And I'll tell you what time it is. Just kidding. And if you're interested in joining in the conversation for next time, please don't be shy. Doesn't hurt, right? I'm Doc Kohler. This is Diagnose Podcast. That's it for now. Until then, take 2 of these. Call me in the morning.